Yo, what's up, YouTube? What's good? I'm back with another video. Uh, we're just gonna hop right into things. I don't wanna keep you guys waiting. I am actually currently analyzing the NAS 100 to see what I'm kind of caught in between two minds in terms of direction. So I'm just kind of trying to follow the recent structure that we've had. So when I'm looking at this, right, I'm seeing that we're having a break of structure to the downside, which is fine. We had a retest of this 4-hour fair value gap, which when I was looking at it, I used this as an entry. If you've seen my previous video, I did have a short position. Uh, I did have a short position here. So I actually waited for markets to tap into the 4-hour fair value gap and either after tapping into the 4-hour, it must also sweep liquidity or sweep liquidity while tapping into this 4-hour. So once markets did this, then I needed markets to close back into my resistance range, the red line, with my stops right above there. And if you guys keep up to date with all my videos, you will know that we did catch these shorts. This was one of my best trades to date. So yeah, currently now my analysis is kind of getting a bit confusing. I am looking for buys because I mean after we've tapped into this 4-hour fair value gap, right? I saw that markets failed to close below this area. As you can see, we just wicked this level and then currently we are breaking above here. And I had this marked out as a point of interest, but now that markets are breaking this high, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I actually think that we're most likely going to pull back into these areas and then continue going higher because we've swept liquidity to the downside. And every time we have a liquidity sweep, sometimes you have a liquidity sweep like this. This was a nice liquidity sweep, right? The reason why this is a liquidity sweep is because markets closed and then um, it went back above. Hold on, I just want to quickly enter this short position that I've been anticipating. Markets are about to close below here. So yeah, so long story short with this one, sorry for just jumping the gun, but we had a loss here yesterday, trying to anticipate the shorts a bit too early. Markets spiked up, sweeping this liquidity, which is fine. So now I just currently needed to give me a nice bearish candlestick as it's doing so that I can hop in for some shorts. Yeah. Okay, so we have markets closing. Uh, Perfect. Yeah, I've entered the shorts, risking roughly $39, as you guys can see. Let me just show you guys on here. So you guys see, yeah. So we're just trying to take the shorts. As you can see, we've just entered here. Hold on. Currently entering more shorts on my other personal account as well. Okay. So let's go all the way down here. It's gonna be like $300. Nice. Okay. Right. So we're looking to short this market. We're risking about 30, 40, 30, 39. Let's see. Like risking roughly 39.50. And we're going to be targeting all the way down here. So we're gonna try and make 381. which is not bad. So yeah, reason for the shorts is quite simply because um, we we saw a liquidity grab, as I explained. It's tapping my points of interest, and the last time we had the exact same situation was here. Again, if you see my previous videos, you will know we had this exact same situation where markets tapped into our points of interest, right? And then closed right below and continued going lower. So that's typically what we're currently trying to do. We're just trying to repeat what the market has done. As you can clearly see, markets had a slow, gradual push back into this area, spiked up with news, sweeping liquidity, and now this fair value gap has been tested so many times. So I'm really looking to see if we can just impulse to the downside from there. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be that trade. Um, my entry was at three, as I said, 215. Hold on, 215, 355, not 366, 355. 355. Perfect. So that's the entry that we were at. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm gonna put this on lock. Just have to wait and see how this plays out. There's nothing much. There's nothing much I can do. Seems good. Seems interesting. Just have to wait and see. Anyways, as I was saying, so my Nasdaq. Uh, I am anticipating buys. I am anticipating buys. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to explain, that this is also a liquidity grab because markets closed below, then immediately closed back above. If I go to my daily here, you will see that this was a huge wick that it closed with. Then the next day it forced to try and close below, or trying to continue going lower, but failed. So if I'm using that kind of idea and that kind of knowledge, this fair value gap failed to continue going lower, and then we finally broke above these highs, and then now we were technically bullish. But then what happened? We swept liquidity again. So you see, it's a cycle. It just keeps taking out highs to go low and taking out lows to go high. So now we sweep this to do what? To go down here and take out this low. So we went to take out that low. Now the fact that we didn't continue going lower and we swept it, what did we intend to do next? Simply just go and take out that high, which is what we did. So currently, what would you think is the next most likely outcome? Well, the most likely outcome is we need a point of interest where we can then continue to buy to the next liquidity point within the market direction. So if I'm bullish, then I'm gonna look for a pullback to then continue buying to the upside. If I'm bearish, vice versa. So here I waited for a pullback into a 4-hour fair value gap to then catch those shorts. Now I'm trying to see if I can catch the buys to the upside. So yeah, let's just pretty much wait and see how that plays out. We're waiting for a pullback on this area. We're waiting for a pullback to then catch these buys pretty much all the way down here. We also have a fair value gap that we can use. So pretty much, yeah, there's nothing really I can do. I did see how the 4-hour here, this fair value gap is the reason we're continuing lower, but I'm only interested in what the markets is showing me. And as you can clearly see, we broke this high, continued from down here. From down here, we can clearly see we're in a bullish uptrend. So from here, we had a break of structure to the downside. What was the previous low that broke that structure? What was the previous high that broke that structure? It was here. So this became a change of state of delivery, because now that you're breaking above here, we are actually showing that we might be intending to continue going higher. So if I draw out my fib extension tool, you'll be able to see that all I do is I wait for it to retest my Fibonacci, and then I'll look to enter. However, I also had a fair value gap here. So you could use the fair value gap, or you could use the Fibonacci extension. Then from there is where you would try to look for your entry to continue going higher. Once you get the break of that, you now need to use a new structure. So you have to wait for a pullback. I identify pullbacks with at least, if it's bearish, 3 bearish candlesticks. If it's a pullback to the downside, I need 3 candlesticks in the opposite direction, basically. So here we waited, we finally got this pullback. So that means that this is now my protected swing low, as you can see. So when I draw my Fib extension tool, I draw it from there to this high, right? Can you clearly see that we didn't come back to retest my point of interest, and it just continued going higher? So it's also showing me that markets are very bullish. If it's not even pulling back enough, but it's pulling to the 50% to then continue going higher, it's quite bullish. Cool. So now we're in a situation where we've broken the structure again. So now that we've broken the structure, we want to pull back. Yes, the pullback has been confirmed. Therefore, this is my point of interest. I use the lowest point to the highest point. As you can see, it lines up perfectly. So that's all I'm going to be waiting for. I don't have to force anything else. I don't want to force anything else. If markets decide they want to continue going higher, that's up to it. I don't care. And then, as you guys saw, I did enter on this for some shorts. So we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. And then on gold, I had a loss. I took some buys early in the morning. Uh, this is why I don't like trading, and I told myself this is why I don't like trading in the morning. Anyways, I tried to take buys literally at 12 in the morning, and I don't trade at that time. So I did end up losing some, I think $100. Yeah, I ended up losing $100 on that trade. Stupidly. But anyways, um, we're still up. So currently, right now, I was just testing to see if this was going to be the buys that I am anticipating. The reason why I was anticipating buys, let me just explain to you guys. I can remove this now. And I also want to remove this. So markets had a pullback, right? Which we did catch those shorts. I mean, you saw my history. This is the shorts we caught. TP was hit, and then we pulled back into this area. Now, if I draw my Fib extension tools, you'll see that it perfectly pulled back into my Fibonacci, right, extension tool. However, I wasn't happy with the fact that markets have grabbed liquidity. That was my big issue. So I had assumed that we were most likely going to use this 4 hour as a support system to then continue going higher. And now here, when I look at the markets, I'm like, okay, yes, I want to be bearish overall, but if I'm sweeping liquidity to the downside, we might have markets give us a reversal. You get me? So now my issue is I had that, and then now I saw that markets also have this 4 hour fair value gap, right? So if I go into my lower time frames, I see that, oh, on the 1 hour here, we haven't closed back below this range. However, on this, so you can see that there's too many conflicting confluences, and that's because we're currently slowly entering into a consolidation. I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's currently looking like it wants to consolidate. I could have just said I want to short entry from here, and then it stops above the highs, but there's liquidity that has been taken to the up to the downside, right? So if we're taking liquidity here, what's the most likely outcome? I showed you guys this on the Nasdaq. I showed you guys this liquidity grab, this one. I showed you guys this. What happened? We swept liquidity, and if we sweeping liquidity, we need to target the external opposing liquidity. Do you get me? So that by default would mean that going higher for me, sweeping liquidity, where's the external? You get me? That's the external liquidity that we have. So my external liquidity is the only reason why I'm not trying to sell anymore. So I looked at this 4 hour and I was like, okay, bet I'm most likely going to look for buys. And I just rushed it, unfortunately. I was supposed to just wait, get my close above here, and that's where you saw that I had an entry. But it wasn't, I didn't really enter the trade because I had already lost $100 for the day. So I didn't want to risk another gold trade. So this initially would be the buy setup that I would take for that. So for me currently now, because I don't want to hit my max daily drawdown, because my max it's 150 a day. It resets to 150 a day, and we already up like $325, and we still need 3 more trading days to complete our consistency. Then we can actually request the payout. So I'm not trying to overtrade today. That's why I only risked about $40 so that I'm still within that 61. But anyways, so here we had markets pushing up, and we most likely going to take out these external highs. It's tapping into a 1 hour fair value gap, most likely to then support itself to go higher, but I'm not interested. I'm not really gonna cry about it. I think it's a good setup and a good idea. I would like to see it actually push up higher to tap into my daily. Then from my daily, I'm definitely gonna then try and look to then catch these shorts, because on the daily time frame we are still bearish, but we don't have a support structure until here for me. So this is most likely where I'm gonna be more interested in taking the trades. So for now, let's just watch this trade, see how it plays out. If this candlestick can just move 50% all the way down, that will be a blessing. And yeah, man, keep you guys posted. Please be sure to check out my shorts in case you guys wanna stay up to date with how my trades are looking, and you want to see me actually close and manage the trades while I'm not recording. So yeah, but as for the other pairs, I'm not really keen on rushing anything. I think this will be the only trade I take today, and then I can only risk again tomorrow, because I don't want to be over risking and blowing the account or breaching the account due to daily drawdown limits and all of that. So let's just take it step by step. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on how the things play out. As always, stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next one.